Did you know that the Jewish people have 3 fast days connected to the destruction of Jerusalem and the destruction of our Holy Temple? 3! For those who are unfamiliar, a fast day for Jews is either around a 24-25 hour fast from nightfall to nightfall, with no food or drink at all, or it's like a 12-13 hour fast from early morning to nightfall, again without any food or drink. So the question is, why do we Jews need 3 separate fast days, all connected to the destruction of Jerusalem and the destruction of our Holy Temple? Isn't one fast day enough? Stick with me as I touch upon one key answer to this question that is relatable to all aspects of our lives, even today, to Jew and non-Jew. The Jewish people have a number of fast days throughout the Jewish calendar year that ensure we remain connected to our history. Now, it's not just about remembering our history, but internalizing the lessons from those historic events as we move forward in our own lives. For instance, we have the Fast of Esther connected to the holiday of Purim. The Fast of Esther commemorates the actual fast that Queen Esther fasted before she began her approach to her husband, King Ahasuerus of Persia, to eventually ask him to stop the genocidal plan of his advisor Haman to annihilate all the Jews of the Persian kingdom. So why do we today fast the Fast of Esther? Well, 1, to remember that we were almost destroyed. 2, to remember that God miraculously saved us thanks to Esther. But 3, also to internalize the power we have as individuals to make a difference in history through our own actions, our own prayers, and our own fasting, just as Queen Esther made that difference thousands of years ago. This is something every Jewish child who grows up celebrating the holiday of Purim and fasting the Fast of Esther understands. So now again, we return to the question, why do we, the Jewish people, need 3 separate fasts to commemorate the destruction of Jerusalem and connected to the destruction of the Holy Temple when one fast day should be enough? So first, let's break down the unique symbolism of each fast day and its connection to mourning Jerusalem and the Holy Temple. The first one is the fast of the 10th day of the Jewish month of Tevet, that Jews around the world will be fasting this week. That fast day commemorates the beginning of the siege upon Jerusalem by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar. This siege lasted for 18 months. 18 months later, the walls of Jerusalem were knocked down and the Babylonian forces destroyed Jerusalem and then destroyed the temple 3 weeks later on the 9th day of the Jewish month of Av. The second temple was also destroyed by the Romans on the 9th day of the Jewish month of Av years later. The walls of Jerusalem during the second temple were destroyed by the Romans on the 17th day of the Jewish month of Tammuz. Hence, this is the timeline of the 3 different fast days connected to the destruction of Jerusalem and the Holy Temple. 1. The 10th day of the Jewish month of Tevet commemorates the beginning of the siege that led to the ultimate destruction of the temple. Fast number 2, the 17th day of the Jewish month of Tammuz, commemorates the destruction of the walls of Jerusalem. And 3, the final fast day, is the 9th day of the Jewish month of Av, which commemorates the final destruction of the Holy Temple, both the first and the second temples. So we see that even though they are all connected to the ultimate destruction of Jerusalem and the Holy Temples, each fast day represents a different point in the process of the destruction. And that is the point. That is the answer to our question. Why do we Jews need to commemorate 3 fasts and not just 1? Because just as life is about the journey and not the destination, so too God is teaching us that we shouldn't just be focused on being sad and fast to commemorate the destruction of the temple at the end and only have 1 fast day at the end. No. While of course we must mourn that ultimate destructive event and internalize the historic lessons, we also must internalize the process that led up to the ultimate destruction of the temple, even the first step of that process that started the whole chain reaction. And that day is when the initial siege of Jerusalem began. This is a crucial, important message for all of us. It is not enough to focus on the end result of things that we experience in life. We must pay attention to the process, and we definitely must pay attention to the first steps of how a process begins. Because ultimately, the only way to stop bad endings to a certain situation is to know how to nip the process in the bud from the very beginning. And to do that, we always must be looking back at how a situation develops from the beginning, to then understand how to figure out to end it before it snowballs into a bad ending. My blessing to all of you is to be aware enough to pay attention to the processes that are taking place in our lives around us, whether in your personal lives or whether to humanity and to the whole world. And may each and every one of you have the intuition and common sense to figure out what is going on to then stop that process from escalating. And it means having to pay attention to how it started. In the meantime, I will pray for what happened in the past and pray that we merit to learn from past mistakes to then witness the rebuilding of the third temple in Jerusalem speedily in our time.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.